see, the papacy destroyed the view of Jesus and the apostles of the separation of church and state. We studied in one of our lectures that Jesus taught that Caesar's things and God's things are to remain separate. They are not to be blended or mixed. In fact, when the two kingdoms came together, when the Jews used the civil power of Rome, the result was persecution and the death of Jesus Christ. The apostles also in the book of Acts, they never used the civil power of Rome to advance the kingdom of Jesus Christ. Never. They preached the Word of God. They used the sword that God gave them. And people were converted and they joined the church. But they never used the civil power of Rome. But the Jews used the civil power of Rome to persecute the Christians. You see, the apostolic view was to keep the things of the church and the things of the state separate. But the papacy changed that during the Middle Ages. The founding fathers of the United States of America returned to the view of Jesus and the apostles. When they established the government of the United States of America, a government of the people, by the people, and for the people, a government that recognized that there are two kingdoms in the United States, and we can be citizens of both kingdoms, the civil kingdom and the religious kingdom, but they should remain always separate. That was the view that Jesus and the apostles had held. But prophecy tells us that in the United States of America, these principles will be repudiated and the United States will return to the position that the papacy had during the 1260 years. In other words, they will make an image of that. And you say, Pastor Bor, you're crazy. That could never happen in the United States of America, the land of the free and the home of the brave. Listen, you don't think so? You say, well, we have the Constitution. We have the First Amendment. How could this ever happen? Listen, prophecy tells us that this beast that rises from the earth has two horns like a lamb, but at the same time that it has the horns, it speaks like a dragon. Let me ask you, is that kind of like a split personality type? Absolutely. You say, how is it possible that it has two horns like a lamb, the two principles that Jesus recognized, separation of church and state, civil and religious matters, separate one from another, and you're saying that at the same time that it has those two principles, that it's going to speak like a dragon, it's going to speak like Rome, it's going to persecute like Rome, it's going to join church and state like Rome? How could you say such a thing? The fact is that prophecy tells us that it's going to be that type of thing because it's still going to have the two horns like a lamb, which we've identified as civil and religious liberty. But at the same time that it has those, it's going to speak like a dragon. In other words, the United States is not necessarily going to eradicate or gets rid of the First Amendment, but it is going to act contrary to the First Amendment. And you say, how is this possible? Well, the United States government has three branches. And you know which ones they are. They're the executive branch, the legislative branch, and the judicial branch.